Hello everyone, welcome back to Open Line. We are happy to have with us Dr. Anna Settle, licensed psychologist. We're talking about, it seems like our obsession with true crime. Where does that come from? What does it say about us? Why is that the case? Certainly many shows out there right now dealing with that. We've kind of focused on this Netflix documentary about Ted Bundy, but it's just one of many. Let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to Eric. I believe Eric is there. Are you there, Eric?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm all right. What's on your mind?
No, I was just thinking, there's a lot of little young kids just having crime in here in Nashville. And what I think that could help them is to build something for them in their community that can have them focus on like life instead of crime.
Right.
You know, so I think we need to focus on trying to build some, instead of these hotels and houses, build some of these communities that can help these children, you know what I'm saying, instead of focus on crime. Because just like you said, look at Ted Bundy. You know, did nobody know he was like that until he got older because his family didn't focus on him. But if you got your community focusing on you, guess what? You'll bloom like a flower.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, more community activities, that kind of thing for children, more of a community focus. I appreciate the call, and that gets back to, you know, what makes someone become this way, what in their childhood, and he's saying we need to focus more on you know, activities for children, that kind of thing. How much of a difference does that make? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those built-in protective factors make kids more resilient. It's all positive. You know, is it going to prevent somebody with a personality structure like Ted Bundy's from committing a crime? Probably not. But when we're talking about the everyday crime that we see, certainly, absolutely.
When you talk about somebody like a Ted Bundy, the worst possible case, I would think, is medication something that would help him, change him? Or is he just the way he is?
Yeah, so that goes back to the question about, is it an entrenched personality disorder, or is it more of this, you know, cycling of depression and mania, which for most psychopaths, it's more of the personality structure. And those pieces of personality cannot be medicated. So you can certainly give somebody medication to make them less aggressive if they're super impulsive, but somebody like Ted Bundy is very calculated. He wasn't going to be, I mean, even when they walk in and they're about to do the dental impressions to see if the bite mark matches his teeth, he walks in and he's surprised and he's becoming violent, and then he sits down in the chair, and then all of a sudden he's very subdued and he says, "I'm not a violent person." And so they're very calculated. So medication isn't going to help those symptoms.
That's interesting. Let's go to Justin. Hello, Justin. Are you there, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
All right, sir. I was given Haldol at Hendersonville Medical Center. I was highly allergic to it, and I said no. Am I allowed to refuse that if I'm just talking and asking for help for anxiety?
All right. I think that's a different set of questions. Do you know what he's asking there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about his history or background, or if he's coming from a legal perspective. If it's somebody who's seeking treatment for anxiety and somebody prescribes them a medication, of course they have the right to not take it.
All right, there you go. Let's go to Steve. Hello, Steve. Are you there? Steve, hello?
No, this is David.
David, I'm sorry. David, go right ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, David.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, go right ahead. You're on right now. Go ahead.
Okay, I got a question. Back in the old times, there weren't that many kids fighting and shooting all that, gangs members. I was wondering if they could have some kind of a curfew for the young kids. Because, you know, the way they've been getting killed every night, I mean, it's terrible. Something that would eliminate that, you know. It would be something good for them, I believe.
A curfew.
That's all I have.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's slightly different, but I appreciate the call in, the point of view. He's saying back in the old days, we didn't see the kind of violence that we see now. And I think that's true on some level. Maybe it's not true on other levels. But you know, to that comment, back in the old days this, back in the old days that. Generally speaking, how different were the old days now? Are more things just out in the open now? Or we just don't know this, right?
Right. I mean, we don't know the specific answer to that question. And again, you know, I always say it's a confluence of factors. It's not necessarily not having a curfew or not having supervision, but there are pieces of that. You know, the exposure that kids have to crime and media. There are all sorts of things that I think are contributing to their proclivity towards violence. And
what is kind of the takeaway of you from all of this? I mean, it is astounding, just the interest level people have. Mm-hmm. I think you've hit it. You know, that we're all terrified by it, but fascinated by it. I ask at the top of the show, what does it say about us as our culture? Right. And I pose, is it terrible that we're so interested in this? And yet I watched it. I mean, I watched the whole documentary, and I know there's so many people that did. So what does it say about us? Is it terrible or not? I mean, what about that? Yeah, I mean, I think if it's an interest and you're just inclined to watch it just in the same way that you get excitement from other things, then it doesn't seem unhealthy. Now, if it's something that you are obsessed with, or if you start to adopt some of those ideas or behaviors, obviously that is cause for concern. But I wouldn't say being fascinated by something that is intriguing or of the unknown is unhealthy psychologically. If you get fixated on it, that's a different deal. All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We'll wrap everything up. Be back right after this.